Okay, so we are getting started here with 1.1 algebraic expressions. These are our notes that we're going to take in class for that. Okay, so this first part, we want to basically plug in the numbers for x, and there's a hint right over here on the side. Put the number where the x is. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And for the first two parts, you're going to plug in x equals 0 or x equals 1. And then the last time you get to pick. So I'm going to pick 3 whenever I do mine, like that right there. All right, so I'm going to take this expression and plug in 0 for x and 1 for x and then 3 for x. So I'm going to come to my scratch paper. I'm going to write down that equation, negative 1/3 plus x plus 7 over 3. So then the first thing I'm going to do is put x equals 0. So I'm going to evaluate it for that. So that's going to be negative 1/3 plus 0 plus 7 over 3. So that's a negative 1/3 plus 7 over 3. That's going to leave me with 6 over 3. And so 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now, one thing I want to review with you is how to use the calculator when we're going to do that particular problem. Okay? So if I pull up this calculator, it's similar to some of those that you already have. But on this, there is a fraction button. So the fraction button on some other calculators looks a little different, but it still has a fraction button. We'll talk about that. So as I look at this problem, I can use this calculator. I'm going to hit the fraction button, and then I'm going to put negative, hold on just a second. Is it working? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put negative 1 over 3, and I need to make that negative. There we go. Negative 1 over 3 plus, and then it's going to be 7 over 3, and so that's going to equal 2. And we get 2 because of the way that works right there. Okay. All right. So then next we're going to evaluate this if x equals 1. Okay, so we're going to plug that in. So if x is 1, I'll have negative 1/3 plus 1 plus 7 over 3. Like that. So when you plug that in, you're going to get, basically we know negative 1/3 plus 7 over 3 is 2. So basically this is going to be 2 plus 1, which is 3. Okay, we know that's going to be 3. All right, and then the last part, x equals 3 is what I chose. So that's going to be negative 1/3 plus 3 plus 7 over 3. Okay, so I know that negative 1/3 and 7 over 3 is 2. And then I'm going to add 3 to that. So 2 plus 3 is 5. Like that. Okay. All right. So then we're going to, I'm going to pull this over here. And I got 2. I got a 3. And then I got 5 when I put that in. So then I'm going to do the second one. And so the second one is, it's 0.5x plus 3 minus 1.5x minus 1. Right? So first of all, I'm going to evaluate if x is equal to 0. So it's going to be 0.5 times 0 plus 3 minus 1.5 times 0 minus 1. Okay, so 0.5 times 0 is just 0. And then negative 1.5 times 0 is also 0. So if I combine that together, that's going to give me 2. Right? 3 minus 1 is 2. All right, so then I'll evaluate it if x is equal to 1. So that's going to be 0.5 times 1 plus 3, right, going back to the original statement, plus, and then we'll have 1.5 times x, which is 1, minus 1. Okay, just following the equation. So 0.5 times 1 is 0.5 plus 3, and then 1.5 times 1 is 1.5, and then we'll have the minus 1. So if we need to, we can pull up the calculator to evaluate that. Okay, so I'm going to pull this right over here. So I'm going to go 0.5 plus 3 plus 1.5 minus 1, and that's going to give me 4. So when I do that, I'll get 4. So let's evaluate that for so that's going to be 0.5 times 1 plus 3 minus 1.5 times 1 minus 1. So we'll pull up our calculator and we'll evaluate that. So that's going to be, well, before we do that, let's multiply this. 0.5 times 1 is 0.5 plus 3. Then negative 1.5 times 1 is negative 1.5 minus 1. So now let's put that in our calculator. So that's going to be 0.5 plus 3 minus 1.5 minus 1, and that's going to give me 1. So that just equals 1 right there. All right, so we got a 2 and we got a 1. Now I'm going to evaluate this if x is equal to 3. That was the number that I chose. Okay, so I'm going to put x is equal to 3. I'm going to evaluate that, so that's 0.5 times 3 plus 3 minus 1.5 times 3 minus 1. So half, 0.5 is like half, so 0.5 times 3 is 1.5 plus 3, and then negative 1.5 times 3. I'm going to use my calculator for that. So that's going to be, we put in 1.5, make it negative, times 3. That gives me negative 4.5. So this is negative 4.5 minus 1. So then let's evaluate that. So it's 1.5 plus 3 minus 4.5 minus 1, and that's going to equal -1 whenever we evaluate that. Okay. All right, so we're going to take those values, 2, 1, and in my case, -1. We're going to put that in our table. So it's going to be 2, 1, and then I got -1 when I evaluated that. Okay, so I want you to work with a partner and finish the rest of this table on your own by plugging in those values. Okay. I'll put in 0 here. 0 plus 4 is 4. And then plugging in a 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. If I plug in a 3, 3 plus 4 is 7. All right, so then the next one, if I put in 0, -2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. Let's put a 1 in there. -2 times 1 is -2. -2 plus 2 leaves me with 0. Now if I put a 3 in there, -2 times 3 is -6. -6 plus 2 is -4. All right, so then on the next one, if I put 0 in, that gives me 0 minus 0 plus 0 plus 4. That's going to be a 4. Okay, and then if I plug in a 1, that's going to be 1/2 minus 1 plus 3.5 plus 4 gives me 3. All right, let me redo that. Let me do that again. I don't think that's right. So I'm going to go to my other sheet of paper, and I'm going to do, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is number 6. So the problem is 1/2 x minus x plus 3/2x plus 4. So if I put x's 0, that was 0 minus 0 plus 0 plus 4, so that was 4. And then if x is 1, that's going to be 1/2 times 1 is 1/2 minus 1 plus 3/2 times 1 is 3/2 plus 4. Yeah, okay, so that's going to be actually be 5. So that's when you put that in the calculator, that is going to give you 5 when you do that. And then if I put 3 in there, that's going to be basically half of 3 minus 3 plus 3/2 times 3 plus 4. So that's, let's see, that's going to be 1.5 minus 3, and then this would be 4.5, and then this would be just the 4. So if I add that together, I'm going to get, let's see, 1.5 minus 3 plus 4.5 plus 4. And that's going to be 7 right there. So we got 4, and we got 5, and we got 7. So we got 4, 5, 7, like that. Okay, so then on the next one, where you're evaluating it, if we put in 0, so putting in 0, that's going to cancel, so you have 2, so it's just a 2. All right, and now if we put a 1 in each of these places, and I'm going to go to my scratch paper to do that, so this would be number 7. So, right, so when I put 1 in there, it's going to be negative 4.8 times 1 plus 2 minus 1 plus 3.8 times 1. Okay, so that's going to give us negative 4.8 plus 2 minus 1 plus 3.8. So I'm going to grab my calculator and plug that in. All right, so that's going to be 4.8 and make it negative, plus 2 minus 1 plus 3.8, and that's going to equal 0 on that one. Okay, so that is 0 right here, and then I need to plug in 3 for all that. So it's negative 4.8 times 3 plus 2 minus 1 plus 3.8 times 3. Okay, so that's going to give me, so if I do 4.8, make it negative, times 3, that will give me negative 14.4 plus 2 minus, so this would be, this would be a 3 right here. That should be a 3. Minus 3, and then 3.8 times 3, 3.8 times 3 is 11.4, like that. So then I'm going to use my calculator, and I'm going to have, let me clear everything. So that's going to be 14.4, which is a negative value, plus 2 minus 3 plus 11.4. So that's going to give us a negative 4 for that value. So if we come back over here, and we'll put in negative 4 right there. Okay, so then this next column, if x is 0, 0 plus 2 is 2. And then if we put 1 in here, 1 plus 2 is 3. And if I put 3 in there, 3 plus 2 is 5. All right, and then if I put 0 in here, negative, that's going to be 0 plus 2, which is 2 again. And then if I put 1 in here, it's going to be negative 1 plus 2, which is going to be 1. And if I put 3 in there, negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Okay, so then on the next one, I'll put in 0. 3 times 0 is 0, and then negative 0 here. So it's basically going to give you 2 plus 4, which is 6. Now if I put a 1 in there, so this is the last one. This is number 10, the 10th row. So that's going to be, let me see, where were we? So we're putting in 1. So that's 3 times 1 plus 2 minus 1 plus 4. All right, so 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4, and 4 plus 4 is 8. So this is going to be 8 right here. And then on mine, I put a 3 in there. So it's going to be 3 times 3 plus 2 minus 3 plus 4. All right, so 3 times 3 is 9. So it's 9 plus 2 minus 3 plus 4. So 9 plus 2 is 11. Subtract that, you get 8. And then 8 plus 4 is 12. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put 12 in here like that. So then the next question says, use properties of operations to justify your answers. We are going to go ahead and go to number 3. To subtract a number, you can add its opposite. Does a similar rule apply to terms in an algebraic expression? And yes, of course it does. That would be a yes. Okay. Now let's look at like terms. So like terms, we've already talked about a little bit, but in an algebraic expression, like terms have the same variables raised to the same exponents. And constant terms are also like terms. Okay, so we can see right here, like terms are 5x and 2x. The constants, right, of 12 and negative 7. And then these both have a z squared, so they would be like terms. Non-like terms over here, 10 and negative 5w. This has a w, but the 10 does not. On the next one, they don't have the same base or the same exponent. This one, they do have the same base, but they don't have the same exponent on them. Okay. So remember, the sign in front of the term is attached to the term. So if we were going to simplify this, we would add together the 4x and the negative 3x. Those would be similar to each other. And then here, the terms, we identify the terms. It's 4x, 6, and negative 3x. Notice we're going to put a comma in front of it. So to identify the terms. So 4x, 6, and negative 3x are the terms. And then the like terms would only be the 4x and the negative 3x. Okay? So let's do an example here. I'm going to do number 9. So the terms, we're going to break it down in 9x. And then the negative 2, make sure you keep the negative with it. And then we have the positive 7, and then the negative x. All right, so those are 4 terms in this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the like terms, we have 9x and negative x. And then we have the constants, which are negative 2 and 7. So those go together right there. Okay, let me redo that, 7. Okay, so I want you to try letter B real quick, and then we'll go back and do that together. So you want to list the terms and then list the like terms. So when we list out those terms, we're going to list just the z squared, the positive 5z, the negative 3z squared and the positive z, like that. Okay? So now the like terms are the z squared and the negative 3z squared. So we also have the 5z and the z, because they both have a z to the first power. Five z and z. So there's two pairs of like terms in that one. Okay, so then on the next section, identify the terms and like terms in the expression. Okay, so if you could do those two together, that would be great. Okay. Do those on your own, then we'll look at it. It's kind of a self-assessment so you can really test and see how you're doing. Identify the terms and like terms in the expression. All right, so on number 1, the terms are, we have a 5x, a 1, a negative 2, and a positive 3x. Okay, so then the like terms hold on, let me redo that. The like terms are the 5x and the 3x and the 1 and negative 2. Okay. So then on number 2, the terms, if we list out all the terms, it's 2y squared, the y, the negative y squared, and the negative y, like that. Okay, so then the like terms are the 2y squared and the negative y squared. And then we would have the y and the negative y. So those are the like terms in that. All right, so then the last part on this page is to simplify and evaluate algebraic expressions. We're going to take the 0.2 and we're going to plug it in right here into this equation, okay? So that's going to be 6 times 0.2 minus 10 times 0.2. So put that in your calculator. 6 times 0.2, that's going to be 1.2. And then we're going to do evaluate that, and we'll have 10 times 0.2, which is 2, like that. Let me double check my math. 10 times Hold on a second. All right, let me start that over. Um, 10 times 0.2. I didn't get it. 10 times 0.2. That is 2. Okay, so 1.2 minus 2 let me start that over. 1.2 minus 2 let me start that over. 1.2 minus 2. Let me clear. 1.2 minus 2 that's what I thought. That should be negative 0.8 whenever you do that. Negative 0.8. Okay? And then, last but not least, we are going to, first of all, we're going to simplify Okay, so this says to simplify and evaluate. So first of all, we're going to simplify this. 6x minus 10x, right? So since they are like terms, what we're going to do basically is do 6 minus 10 like that. Okay, so they both have an x. So we just do 6 minus 10, which is going to be negative 4x is what that is. 6 minus 10 is negative 4, and then the variable doesn't change when we're evaluating, we're simplifying. So 6 minus 10. So now we're going to evaluate that if x is 0.2. So we need to do negative 4. It's going to go 4 negative times 0.2, and that's going to be, let me start that over. So we got negative 4 times 0.2, and that is going to be negative 0.8, like that. Okay, so now on letter B here, we need to, first of all, distribute, just like we did before. So 0.5 times x squared is 0.5x squared. And then 0.5 times negative 2, that's going to give you negative 1. And we'll just bring this part down. Now we're going to combine the like terms. So we have 0.5. We are going to combine that with the 1.5. They both have an x squared. So we're going to add that together and just going to be next to the x squared like that right there. Okay, so that's going to be 2x squared like that. And then we just have this minus 1 all by itself. So this reduces or simplifies to 2x squared minus 1. Okay, so now we're going to plug in 0.2 into that and evaluate what it is. So that's going to be 2 times x squared minus 1. like that. Hold on. Let me redo that. So inside the x, we're going to put 0.2 in there, then minus 1. So it's 2 times negative 2 squared minus 1. Okay, so 0.2 squared, right? That means 0.2 times 0.2, so that's going to be 0.04. So this will be 2 times 0.04 minus 1. So we'll take our calculator and we'll go 2 times 0.04 equals, hold on, let's redo that. Two times 0.04, that's going to equal 0.08 minus 1. So on my calculator, I'll just hit minus 1. So that's going to give me 0.92 on that right there. Okay, so we're going to stop right there and we'll do the rest on a part 2 video. One thing I forgot when we did that is this should have been negative right there, negative 0.92. Okay, we'll do the rest of this on another video. So that's the end of part 1.